We left off with Chicago Fire. Cruz was in a not good spot, I think it's fair to say. What can you tease about where things pick up when we return for the mid-season premiere?
Well, I mean, goodness, first of all, I'm so proud of the team in general for what they've put together in this storyline and how they built out the story. Like that church that we're in at the very end of this episode that you guys are currently caught up to is the church where I got married. It is the church in season one where I made the decision to leave the firehouse after all of the events that happened with Flaco. So there is a long history with me in that church, which is, fun fact, St. Ignatius, very near where we film the actual firehouse for 51. And yeah, so when we last leave Cruz, he's standing face to face with Junior, who apparently wants to have a conversation. We are going to learn that Cruz is possibly going to get involved in some unfortunate, nefarious activities, definitely with a lot of hand wringing and being coerced, but it certainly he definitely gets into deep trouble. And figuring out how to navigate all of the secrets that he's had from the past and the new ones he's building up during these couple of episodes in the firehouse really start to come to a head at the end of this end of episode 9 and into 10.
It's interesting when you're on a show this long, you have this kind of history that you can play with from this many years ago that you actually lived through. When you found out the storyline was coming back, what did you need to kind of revisit? What questions did you have? What has it been like kind of revisiting something that you played at the very beginning of the show?
I mean, it's funny, like it was fun to revisit the episodes, but this storyline is pretty much Cruz's origin story. Like, I think it's really how you get to learn who he is as a human being. It's when you first learn about his family. And it is, arguably one of the more controversial decisions made by the writers in the first season because it was such a step away from what they were trying to do with building up a firefighter show that really kind of highlighted the bravery and honor and just selflessness of firefighters. And that certainly was not what Cruz did in that moment. Actually, I would argue he would. So it was so easy to step back into because it's so vivid in my memory still. Like I still have so many recollections of what it felt like, where we were, like, how hot my ears felt when there was the shot of me closing the door on Flaco, because that was very real fire. And I literally felt like my ears were on fire in that moment. And so it's like revisiting it was actually just it immediately all came back. And being able to have these conversations, with like Jeff Lima, who God, I've known now for so long, and it's such a joy to see him back on the show, and he brings so much to the table, and like it's just it was so fun to play, and it was so fun to be able to jump back into a storyline that I didn't think we'd ever see again, because it's such a big secret for Cruz that I thought, that one's going to the grave. Like that we're never going to revisit this. But it's definitely going to put Cruz in a very, very difficult position in the firehouse.